Right now at 6, a local church in Joplin puts on its annual Family and Friends Thanksgiving.
And we've got ourselves a cloudy and cold start to the day, and it's not going to be that warm as we head into the afternoon. Look at that forecast. Get you out the doors coming up.
Plus, a Missouri church hands out baskets of food for families in need this holiday season.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday, November the 25th. Thanksgiving just a few days away. Many folks probably a short work week, short school week.
Yes.
And maybe, if you're lucky enough, you've got the whole week off. You may not even be fully awake yet. Just getting that cup of coffee, finding out what's it going to be like today. Do I want to go outside or not? And in all honesty, depending on your tolerance for the cold, you may not want to go outside at all. So we're going to start with a quick look outside. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. I was telling this earlier. I left home about 2:45 in the morning. I had to get air in the tire. Stopped at Quick Trip, got air in the tire, and it was in the 50s. Okay, it wasn't bad. It was in the mid-50s. By the time I got to the station and got out of the car, it was cold, and that north wind is bone-chilling. This is our camera, downtown Pittsburgh. Looks pretty good so far. Again, we've got some clouds out there. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking good as well. Looking back to the west down 32nd Street, and it is cloudy. Now, the clouds will begin to clear as we head into the afternoon. So here's the thing. Even though it's going to be cold, even under the cloud cover, you will be a pinch warmer under the clouds than those without the clouds, because as they clear, temperatures are going to drop pretty quickly back behind that. On top of that, we're going to have those north winds gusting upwards of 20 to 30 miles an hour, which is going to make it feel even colder, which is what it's doing right now. It is now down to 43 in Joplin, still sitting at 42 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, here's that boundary pushing through. So still, Cassville, Bentonville, upper 50s. A lot of us, for record-keeping purposes, hit highs in the upper 50s and even low 60s. But for most of us, especially the further northwest you go, that was at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Once that front pushed through, temperatures fell pretty quickly. Most of us into the low to mid 40s, and we got wind chills. Now, where that boundary is, look, it's technically feels warmer in Cassville than what it is right now, but that will not last, because look back behind you. We've got wind chills into the low to mid 30s across a good portion of the area. Kids getting on the bus, mid-40s, mostly cloudy, north winds gusting 25 miles an hour out there, and only about 3 degrees difference when that bus brings them home. Partly cloudy skies, north winds gusting to 30, about 48. So that's the thing, is behind this boundary, most of us, we're going to kind of hover in the low to mid-40s. Some of us, to get a little sunshine in there, may make the upper 40s by the afternoon before temperatures begin to fall as skies clear out. It's going to be a pretty cold night tonight. Then we're going to warm up. Then it's going to get cold again, and we'll go over all those details, including Thanksgiving, here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, Cherokee County 911 was alerted to a house fire early Thursday evening just off Southeast Lowell Road. Firefighters approaching could see a huge plume of black smoke miles away. On arrival, flames were already through the roof, and the residents were not injured. However, some pets did perish. They contacted the Red Cross to assist 2 people who were displaced. They are still investigating the cause of the fire. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Fort Scott Recreation Department hosted a turkey shoot Sunday. Kids from pre-K to 8th grade competed with a partner in a free throw contest, with the grand prize being a Thanksgiving turkey. And the cost to participate was $10 per team, with the proceeds being used for Adopt a Family toy donations during Christmas. The one church in Joplin put on its annual Family and Friends Thanksgiving. Members of the church's congregation brought Thanksgiving foods like mashed potatoes, stuffing, and lots of pie. This is also the church's starting event for Christmas of Hope, in which they help provide Christmas gifts for foster children.
Raise over $30,000 starting at Thanksgiving until we actually go out and do the shopping. And so that's just in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, we're able to raise over $30,000 to make sure that we're able to buy the kids what they want.
Shopping for the gifts begins on December 11th at the 15th Street Walmart. Well, the Missouri Church handed out baskets to people containing essentials for Thanksgiving dinner. The James River Church in Joplin gave back to the community by donating food items for Thanksgiving. KOAM's Mitch Adams brings us more.
Being there to be able to hand that to them and say, here you go, I hope this blesses you, that's what it's all about.
The holidays can be costly for many families. During this time of the year, there are organizations that help people in need of donations. One of those organizations being the James River Church in Joplin.
So this is the Thanksgiving basket giveaway. So this is historic in the life of the church. We've never given away this many baskets before. Today across all 4 campuses, we're giving away 70,000 pounds of food. That's over 19,000 homes across the southern Midwest Missouri.
A giveaway like this can't run smoothly without a good amount of assistance, and the church had plenty of people interested in volunteering.
We had 194 volunteers show up because we wanted to bless our community with a Thanksgiving Day basket that included a full Thanksgiving meal, a turkey, stuffing, a dessert, the whole Thanksgiving meal. And we had 194 people say, I want to be a part of that. I want to show up and I want to be an outreach to the community and give back in any way that they can.
A pillar of the Thanksgiving holiday is being grateful, and the church wanted to display this by helping the community and people in need.
James River Church cares, that they are excited to help. I mean, that 200 people came out on a Saturday morning to show love to the community. Just to say that we care, that God cares, He loves them, He sees them, and we want to be a part.
In Joplin, Missouri, Mitch Adams, KOAM News.
Baskets were available for pickup Saturday morning from 10 a.m. to noon. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. UPS has reached a settlement with the Securities and Exchange Commission for overestimating the value of its freight unit. Plus, the FAA is forecasting that the highest number of flights of more than 50,000 will take off tomorrow. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Monday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the West Fork Drywood Bridge for Historic Bridge Awareness Month. Topping Nation Watch this morning. UPS has reached a settlement with the federal government for overestimating the value of its freight division. UPS will pay $45 million to settle the charges brought by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Now, the SEC accused the company of misrepresenting its earnings. The agency says back in 2019, UPS failed to follow generally accepted accounting principles in valuing its freight unit. UPS relied on an outside consultant that determined the freight unit was worth about $2 billion. 3 times as much as what the Atlanta-based company had initially determined. Well, McDonald's is shaking up its menu and it's adding new value items in hopes of winning back customers put off by higher prices. On Friday, the fast food chain unveiled a new budget-friendly McValue menu. The $5 meal deal put in place earlier this year will remain. The chain is also adding a new buy one, add one for $1 option that includes breakfast items. McDonald's is trying to recover after a dismal few quarters. Cash-conscious customers had started to pull away amid rising prices, and the average cost of menu items has increased 40% over the past 5 years. While people heading to the grocery store for Thanksgiving are seeing sky-high prices for eggs. Egg prices were up more than 30% in October from just a year ago, according to the Consumer Price Index. Now, a spike in avian flu and the upcoming holiday season are combining to make the problem even worse. And rising prices could affect other egg-based items like mayonnaise and pasta. The USDA warns high prices could stick around well into 2025. Well, the country is gearing up for more record-breaking travel this Thanksgiving holiday week. AAA predicts that nearly 80 million Americans will hit the skies, roads, tracks, and seas. Now, travel experts are urging people to pack their patience as they deal with a heavy volume of fellow travelers and possible severe weather in parts of the country. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York. There's also a bright spot for drivers this year.
The Thanksgiving rush has already begun at airports across the country.
Everything's cool. Getting on the flight seems pretty good.
AAA says more than 5 million Americans will take to the skies this week, with the FAA forecasting that the highest number of flights, more than 50,000, will take off tomorrow. The Transportation Security Administration says it's working to keep passengers moving, with screening wait times predicted at less than 30 minutes for regular flyers. That drops to 10 minutes for those with TSA PreCheck.
This year, passenger volumes are the highest we've ever seen. And fortunately, our staffing in TSA is also at the highest levels that they have ever been.
Severe weather forecasts of cold temps, heavy rain, and snow in parts of the country this week could also create some air travel delays.
I expect it to be crazy. It probably will take a little bit, so go ahead and adjust.
Weather could also impact the more than 71 million Americans expected to hit the highways this holiday week. But there's some good news for drivers. Prices at the pump are falling.
That's going to give folks a little bit more money in their pocketbooks for those holiday ingredients and, of course, those Black Friday shopping deals.
AAA says the national average price for regular gasoline could dip below $3 a gallon this week. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
AAA also says the heaviest travel times for those hitting the roads this week are Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons. They're urging drivers to leave earlier in the day to avoid rush hour commuters and also to inspect their cars, check fluids, tire treads, brakes before heading out to help avoid a roadside breakdown that could put a real damper on the holiday season. And that's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, Skywatch Storm Tracker showing us the clouds out there. And if you look close, you can see that cold front as it pushed from west to east across the region as it progressively exits now. Most of us are behind it. Most of us are pretty darn cold out there. And we've got mostly cloudy skies from our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin this morning. Clouds will continue to clear out as we head into the afternoon, but our temperatures, we hit early highs in the upper 50s for many of us. But we're going to hit afternoon highs, maybe the mid to upper 40s if we're lucky with gusty north winds. We'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Welcome back. Lori Horton is with us this morning in the studio teaching us how to make her pumpkin crunch cake. Looks delicious. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning. This is going to be a great one. I don't know if you guys have checked your calendars, but we've got a big holiday in a couple days. A lot to do. So, everybody wants pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving. And it's just awkward when you have a large group. You have 2, 3, 4 pies in the fridge. Sure. This is kind of a mixture between a slab pie and a cake.
Ooh,
yeah,
delicious.
So we've kind of got that pumpkin pie custardy texture to the bottom and that nice crunch top to it. So it's a good one, and obviously we're going to do this in a sheet pan, so you can do a larger quantity of it. It's a little easier to deal with in the fridge because they're already full of all the things, right? Basic ingredients as well. So we're going to start with some half and half. Okay. So often we use heavy cream in a lot of our recipes, but this one we actually want to lower that fat content a little bit, and we're going to do the half milk, half cream. And we want to make sure we're buying pure pumpkin. So when you go to the store, you'll see the pumpkin pie mix, you'll see the pumpkin puree, all of the things.
Just the straight pure pumpkin.
Straight pure pumpkin. You look at the ingredients, it literally just says pumpkin. It's also a good time of year to check those spices because you're going to be using them in a lot of different things. If you've got some that's been open since you used 1/4 teaspoon last year, throw them out and get a new container. They do kind of lose their potency over time. But it's the standards, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the cloves. All the good stuff. All the good stuff that's kind of in those pumpkin pie spices. So other than that, eggs, brown sugar, nothing you probably don't already have in the cabinet for the upcoming things. So we're going to start with 1.5 cups of half and half. It's a lot of halves. We're just going to dump that in our bowl. And this one, you don't even have to dirty the mixer. This is something you can totally do with a hand mixer or a whisk.
Oh, great. Yeah.
We're not even going to plug that in this morning. So 1.5 cups. To that, we're going to add about 1 cup of brown sugar. And then we're going to slowly start to whisk some of these things together so that we don't make too big of a splash. That'll dissolve pretty quickly. You just kind of tap that in there. We're going to add 3 eggs. And always remember, anytime you're baking, if it just calls for eggs, those are large eggs. And as the story mentioned just a few minutes ago, if you have looked at the price of eggs lately, that is so true. 'Tis the season for all of these things.
Is.
So we're going to add those in and just make sure those eggs are broken and mixed up a little bit. And then to that, we're going to add our spices. And again, a little bit of nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves. And I've already got those all measured together, so I'm going to sprinkle those in. And then you want to spend just a few minutes getting those incorporated before you add the pumpkin and the last few ingredients. So I'm going to whisk on these for a minute. When we come back in a little bit, we'll add the last of those things, and then we'll talk about that crunch top mix and how long we bake and all the things.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Lori. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is coming up on 6:23 on this Monday morning here in the 4 states. We're starting with the future track, so we got mostly cloudy skies out there. By noon, they will start clearing from west to east. We're also going to have those gusty north winds out there. We are going to be dry today, but we are going to be cold. And again, for record-keeping purposes, we hit highs today, upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s. But for the majority of us, that happened at about 3 o'clock this morning. And then this front pushed through and dropped temperatures. Temperatures are going to hover for most of us right around the mid-40s, some like Yates Center, Fredonia, Chanute, a little further west, you may only hover in the low 40s, and then all of us are going to get downright cold as we head into tomorrow morning into the 20s. Now, initially, we'll have clear skies to start, but then we'll go with partly cloudy skies throughout the day on our Tuesday. We'll actually be a little warmer because once we get behind another system, we're going to have southerly winds out there. And that's going to push most of us into the low to mid 50s and some upper 40s for sure, but we'll be a pinch warmer for quite a few of us as we head into our Tuesday. We're going to be even warmer and cloudier by Tuesday night than into Wednesday. So we've got a cool start for sure, upper 30s, low 40s, but by the afternoon hours, we have some light shower or isolated shower chances. But take a look at these temperatures. Many of us going into the upper 50s, maybe even some low 60s, but then you see how the winds shift out of the south because we have another cold front coming through. By Wednesday evening, I'll bring a few more isolated shower chances to us. And then as we head overnight, temperatures are going to fall once again. And we have a pretty cold Thanksgiving lined up for us. Right now, already pretty cold. 43 feels like 37 in Joplin. Winds are north at 10. And across the area, here's that cold front. It's pushed on off. So now Cassville. Not long ago, you were about 5-6 degrees warmer than this. Now you're down to 53. Bentonville's still warm. The rest of us, though, for the most part, low to mid 40s out there. So a cold start with those northerly winds. Again, out ahead, it's not too bad yet. But back behind, we've got wind chills for some of us, especially in parts of southeast Kansas, low to mid 30s this morning. As we get our morning underway, again, chilly, and I wasn't being lazy, nor was I falling asleep on the keyboard. We're literally going to see our temperatures hover. So many of you, where you're at now, you might get a degree or two warmer, but you're really just going to kind of hover at that point through the morning because the cloud cover is going to keep temperatures steady for a bit as we go through the morning hours. Now, as we head into the afternoon, some sunshine's going to try and peek through. So some of us making highs upper 40s, others, again, just hanging out low to mid 40s, and clouds gradually decreasing as we head into the afternoon. Now, of course, as we lose the cloud cover, it's going to start to get cold pretty fast. Also, north winds gusting around 30 miles an hour. Into the evening we go. Again, clear skies by later in the evening, mid-30s by 10. Calm winds tonight, and we'll fall back into the mid-20s as we head into our Tuesday morning. But again, a little warmer tomorrow, low 50s, upper 50s, few showers, cold front comes through, another one drops us down. So Thanksgiving, we look to be dry and sunny, but we also look to be cold. So we're going to be in the mid 40s. And then we're going to fall into the upper 30s and low 40s for highs as we head into Sunday before we warm up just a bit, upper 40s, maybe near 50 as we head into the first week of December. That is a check of your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, prenatal vitamins are considered essential for a healthy pregnancy, but researchers at the University of Colorado tested dozens of brands and found less than half had adequate amount of choline and iodine. Some of the vitamins also had higher than expected levels of heavy metals like lead and cadmium. The scientists say it's still important to take prenatal vitamins, and women should consult their doctor. Children's books are often filled with animal characters, and a new study from the University of Plymouth finds those non-human characters are important for psychological development. Now, more than 100 kids were tested after reading stories featuring humans versus non-humans, and younger kids in particular scored higher when exposed to stories about animals. And snoring can be a disruption during the night, but research from the University of Maryland School of Medicine finds it may be linked to behavioral problems in adolescents. Now, the study of some 12,000 teens found those who snore 3 or more times a week were more likely to be inattentive in class or have social difficulties. They say kids who have breathing problems in their sleep may be misdiagnosed with ADHD. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, lost World War II letters and photos are back with their owner's family.
And it is cold out there for many of us after hitting very early highs. We'll talk about how chilly it's going to be and what we're expecting for the rest of today coming up.
Plus, people in Fort Scott put on their running shoes for this year's turkey trot.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Monday, November the 25th, and we are just a few days away now from Thanksgiving.
Yes, exciting things happening this week.
There are. It's going to be a fun week. Now, of course, it's a holiday, so before anybody worries, because this happens, and honestly, we appreciate it, but just so you know, none of us are going anywhere, but with it being a holiday week, it's going to be a mismatch of who's here mornings and evenings.
Right.
You know, but that's what happens sometimes. So worry not, though. We'll be back for December.
Yes,
undoubtedly. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you got a good Thanksgiving plan. Sometimes the best Thanksgiving plan is to stay home and eat the turkey yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, you want to go see some family, friends, and absolutely a great time to do so. Today, though, if you're going to go see anybody or do anything, you're going to want to bundle up because it's going to be cold out there. I mean, yesterday was an absolutely gorgeous day. I told the kids, I said, this is the last good day you're going to have to run to the park for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So they took advantage of that. Let's look outside real quick. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Today, not a good day to go to the park. They're going to get off the bus, and the first thing they're going to ask me is, Dad, can we go to the park? And I'm like, no, unfortunately, you cannot go to the park. Because it's going to be cold. Mostly cloudy skies as we get this day underway. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Got folks starting their day, and it is cold out there. I know I told this story earlier, but when I woke up, had to get some air in the tire, it was in the mid-50s. When I got to the station, it was already in the 40s. It was much colder up here. And if you're back behind this front, which most of us are now, you probably are noticing that temperature drop. So into the afternoon, skies will begin to clear. So because there will be some clearing earlier in the morning in parts of southeastern Kansas, so say Fredonia, Chanute, Yates Center, roughly this line in northwest, you may not make it much warmer than the low 40s today, but the cloud cover will help it stay a little warmer. We're talking a little warmer, upper 40s for most of us for afternoon temperatures. But again, for those who maybe for record-keeping purposes, just so you're aware, we actually hit our highs in the upper 50s and even some low 60s at about 2, 3 o'clock this morning. 43 in Joplin right now, 42 in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's kind of entered hovering mode for the last hour and a half. They've been sitting at 42. Same out here. So we got low mid 40s for most of us, some upper 40s. Bentonville just now getting behind the front, so still mild out there. Cassville, you were near 60 most of the morning. You have dropped now to 53. And then with those north winds, especially into southeastern Kansas where it's a little colder, we got wind chills into the low to mid 30s across parts of southeast Kansas. So kids get on the bus this morning. It's going to feel colder than what it already will be. 45, mostly cloudy, north winds gusting to 25. That bus brings them home. Partly cloudy, skies gradually clearing, but only 3 degrees warmer for some of us. 48, north winds gusting to 30. Again, skies gradually clearing. as we head into the afternoon and evening hours, and temperatures are afternoon highs only into the mid to upper 40s, and again, some of you low 40s for highs today. It's going to be pretty cold tonight, then it'll warm up, then it'll get cold again. We'll talk about that, plus the Thanksgiving Day forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, World War II letters and photos donated to the Salvation Army in Hannibal, Missouri are back with their owner's family. Hannibal Salvation Army family store manager Tina Eifert and local writer Megan Duncan helped to solve the mystery of who they belong to. Alice Montgomery says she must have accidentally dropped the box of letters off by mistake when dropping off donations. Duncan said the letters portray a heartwarming love story between Montgomery's parents, Chester and Bernice.
It's a joy to see that the people who got them cared about them, that they cared to find out where they came from and that they got back to the right person. That means a lot to me.
Store manager Eifert said her father served in the Korean War and passed away when she was young, so it made the return of the letters and photos even more special for her. Meadowbrook Mall hosted Southeast Kansas Humane Society's annual fall bake sale. Baked goods included pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, vanilla cupcakes, and more, all made by volunteers around the community. The Humane Society also got to showcase some of the animals they have up for adoption on a bulletin board. All adoption fees for the animals are also now $20 for a limited time.
The bread in particular, this lady, she bakes bread every single year. It's one of our top sellers, but we get to see new faces too. We get to see new blood that comes into our organization. So it's getting to meet individuals today and getting to share our story and mission with everybody.
One way you can support your local animal shelter is by having your pets spayed and neutered. The Fort Scott Recreation Department did a 5K run for 7 local families for its Adopt a Family program. The run, called the Turkey Trot's goal is to raise around $100 for each family to go towards Christmas gifts. Now, this year's event is partnered with Fort Scott High School's Angel Tree, which tells the rec department what some of the kids want for Christmas.
Really, we're just trying to do things for the community, get more people out in the community. That's why we like these runs. It's kind of an easy thing to do, and people get some exercise out of it too, so it's a good thing. And then, it kind of showcases our town as they take their route around town. And then we also find ways to give back.
All participants received a t-shirt from their entry fee. Well, some would say nothing says Christmas quite like a safari. If you're one of those people, the Safari Christmas at the Creation Safari Wildlife Park in Wyandotte, Oklahoma is just for you. Now, visitors to the park could walk through a Christmas adventure featuring more than 100 lighted animal displays created just for the park. But it wasn't just lighted animal displays. The Safari Christmas featured some actual animals as well.
My favorite animal, I actually like the bunnies. They eat anything. They also like the goats because you can feed big feed or small feed or lettuce, anything in your hand, they give it to you. One actually tried to eat one of my friend's sweater.
Tickets for the Safari Christmas will cost adults $12, children $10, and kiddos under 2 get in for free. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia are recalling more than 200,000 electric vehicles due to a power issue. And we have a cold and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the West Fork Drywood Bridge for Historic Bridge Awareness Month. In Consumer Watch this morning, high temperatures and historic drought are impacting the cranberry crop this year and the farmers who grow in all-American fruit. A Thanksgiving staple is a way of life for one farming family that showed Bradley Blackburn what goes into the fall harvest.
For the Lee family of New Jersey, when cranberries are ready for harvest, everybody dives in. Family members, neighbors, even reporters, donning waders and getting to work.
We use this edge board to push the berries gently towards a suction box.
Jennifer Lee's been at it since age 5.
Just the fact that we're all here together.
It connects you to your roots.
Absolutely, literally.
The vines are kind of our children, for lack of better terms.
The family started growing vines in the 1860s when Patriarch Stephen Lee's great-great-grandfather bought the land.
We all feel like we have a connection to the land, and that makes it hard because you can't just walk away from it. It's home.
His grandson Andrew is part of the 7th generation.
Just think about the work that everybody else put in so you could be in the spot that you are now, and it gives me goosebumps.
The Lee Brothers Farm is now part of the Ocean Spray Collective with some 700 growers. Cranberry production nationwide is expected to be up 2%, but fresh cranberries will cost you about 16% more. Farmers have faced plenty of challenges this year, from drought and wildfires to growing costs.
Our ingredient costs are up. Sweetener is expensive. Transportation is more expensive.
So it's pinched you.
It's pinched us.
Most of the year, the bog isn't flooded, but every fall they loosen the ripe fruit, then fill it up and let the cranberries help with the harvest.
When you pop it open, there are 4 air pocket chambers, so they float so we can harvest by water.
These berries are processed into craisins or juice, but the Lees like reminding people where it all begins.
I actually think they're sweeter from the bog.
They are refreshing, is what I like to call them.
They are refreshing.
A taste that may be on your holiday table thanks to a family tradition that runs deep. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, Chatsworth, New Jersey.
Wicked defied gravity to top the weekend box office, raking in an estimated $114 million domestically. Gladiator 2, released by Paramount Pictures, part of our parent company Paramount Global, debuted second with $55 million. Holiday-friendly Red One came in third with $13 million in North America. More than 200,000 Hyundai, Genesis, and Kia electric vehicles have been recalled due to a power issue. The National Highway Safety Administration says the vehicles' transistors in the charging control unit can get damaged and stop charging the 12-volt battery, which could cause loss of power while driving, increasing the risk of a crash. Now, impacted owners will be notified via a letter in the coming weeks in order to take their vehicles to the dealership for a free repair. And as more than 71 million Americans prepare to hit the roads this Thanksgiving week, drivers could see some relief at the gas pump. Now, AAA says the national average price of regular gasoline was at $3.06 per gallon last week, a more than 20-cent drop compared to last year. Nearly 30 states are already seeing above gas prices below $3. And that's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty cold start out there for many of us this morning. Quick look outside, our camera downtown Pittsburgh. There's no sunrise to show you, and that is not because the sun has gone away, though it's going to feel like it. We are just simply mostly cloudy and chilly. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. I got a few more folks on the road lining up on 32nd Street here. Skies are still, of course, mostly cloudy. As we head into the afternoon, they will begin to clear from west to east. So here's something to keep in mind. Further west, you're going to get clearing a little ahead of everybody else. Because of that, you're also going to be a little colder today. You may just hover in the low to mid 40s, but ahead of that, where the cloud cover may be sticking around into the afternoon, be a little warmer, upper 40s, maybe right around 50 degrees. And again, just for those folks at home, record-keeping purposes, you're going to see by tomorrow that we would have hit highs today in the upper 50s to near 60 because that happened at about 3 a.m. for most of us. We're not going to be that warm into the afternoon. In fact, on average, we're looking at afternoon highs about the upper 40s. Sitting right now in Joplin at 43. Pittsburgh, this is the hovering I'm talking about as well. Pittsburgh has been at 42 for almost 2 hours straight now without any kind of movement. And that's really, once we're back behind this boundary, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Parsons, most of these temperatures have been pretty steady through the morning hours. They're cold, but they've been steady. Now, Bentonville is just now on the backside of this front. They're the last warm spot. Earlier this morning, Cassville was almost 60 degrees. So we're going to see those north winds bringing in this cold air and making it feel rather chilly. In fact, we already have wind chills into the low 30s for many of us. Quick look at that bus stop forecast. Kids getting out there about the mid 40s, mostly cloudy, north winds gusting to 25. Partly cloudy as clouds decrease, north winds gusting to 30 and only 48. That's a quick check of your forecast. We'll have another look at that here in just a moment, as well as birthdays and anniversaries. But first, here's what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Gail King, coming right up on CBS Mornings. It's another edition of Beg Knows America. It's where David dips into his Dear David mailbag to share heartfelt stories from our viewers. Plus, we'll introduce you to an NFL player who's making a name for himself on and off the field. Love when that happens. That's coming right up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Monday birthdays, and we're going to start up in Jasper with Gentry Joe Etchison celebrating birthday number 3. Happy birthday.
And in Frontenac, a happy 10th birthday to Ryan Harina.
And we've got Autumn Avery in Girard celebrating birthday number 15 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 34th birthday to Kayla Meister in Joplin. It says here, happy birthday, sweetheart. Love, Dad and Judy.
And we've got Tracy Baldwin celebrating birthday number 54 today. Happy birthday, Tracy.
And a happy 77th birthday to Carolyn Eddington in Columbus. It says here, happy birthday from Cherokee County Rural High School class of 65.
And then Joe and Pat Nigman celebrating an anniversary. Sorry, I skipped. I am so sorry, Shane. Shane, we're going to make it up to you. Love the stars. I couldn't do tattoos, but those look really cool. Looks like you're having a good time in a warm place. Hopefully you're able to spend your birthday there. Shane Burns, a very happy birthday to you. Now you've got this one.
And in Columbus, happy anniversary to Joe and Pat Nigaman.
It's been a long time since I've skipped something on that list, and I feel really bad. So Shane, again, a very happy birthday to you, and a happy birthday and anniversary to everyone on this list. And if you would like to celebrate these things with us, Elise Noe knows what to do.
Yes, go ahead and submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to include those photos and messages to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, to also include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Hey, hold up. We are missing out on an opportunity for a segment with you. Noe knows.
Oh, no.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. All right, let's take a look outside with our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. It's Monday. We gotta spruce it up. We gotta be excited. It's Monday. It doesn't look exciting, so just pretend it is, okay? Mostly cloudy skies out there. It is on the cold side. We had a cold front pass through overnight, so for some of us, we hit our highs, our highs for record-keeping purposes hours ago. Others recently hit them, but those temperatures are beginning to fall. Our camera 7th and range line also showing mostly cloudy skies out there. As we head into the afternoon, clouds will begin to clear from west to east. That said, I wanted to emphasize as well, out to our west, clouds are going to clear a little earlier than everyone else. Therefore, you're going to kind of lose that little blanket. Very likely, places like Yates Center, Fredonia, probably won't see highs much warmer than the low to mid 40s. However, where that cloud line is and points east, very likely see highs in the, at least afternoon highs, into the upper 40s before temperatures begin to fall as those clouds roll on out of here. We're also going to have to contend with gusty north winds. All of us cold tonight, back into the 20s out there to start our Tuesday. But you see very quickly after sunrise, the winds go from north to south. Now they'll be a little calmer tomorrow, about 5 to 10 miles an hour, but between the southerly winds and a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, we're going to be a little warmer for most of us as we head into Tuesday. Now by late Tuesday, clouds will increase. We'll spend the overnight hours and our Wednesday mostly cloudy, but that also acts again as that blanket, a little warmer. Upper 30s, low 40s as we start our Wednesday. In fact, Wednesday is going to be one of our warmer days. In fact, I think it's going to be the warmest day in the 10-day forecast. Is going to be Wednesday. We're going to have those south winds. Now, see, we have a low pressure. It circles by. We get north winds on the backside, cold air behind it, maybe a few isolated showers, but when it does rain, if we see rain, it's going to be warm enough that it will be rain. And then as we go overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, maybe a stray shower or two, but I think we'll be drying out and we're going to be getting colder. Quick look at temperatures. We'll skip this one. We're just going to go right into across the region. Again, already cold front through, low mid 40s. Bentonville, cold front just passed. You'll be dropping with the rest of us, and we're hanging out, again, low mid 40s. And then back to the northwest, we have wind chills into the low 30s. Through the morning, mostly cloudy skies. That keeps our temperatures just kind of hovering. That's what we've already seen this morning, right around the mid 40s, low 40s for some of us as well. We're having another look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as news you need to know. And we switch over to Fox 14. We're going to hear how a family's pet turkey is wreaking havoc on a Massachusetts neighborhood. Maybe part of that turkey drop. More at 7 a.m.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Cherokee County 911 was alerted to a house fire just off Southeast Lowell Road early Thursday evening. The flames were already through the roof when firefighters arrived. Now, the residents were not injured. However, some pets did perish. They are still investigating the cause of the fire. The Fort Scott Recreation Department did a 5K run for 7 local families for its Adopt a Family program. The goal of the run was to raise around $100 for each family to go toward Christmas gifts. This year's event is partnered with Fort Scott High School's Angel Tree, which tells the rec department what some of the kids want for Christmas. And Meadowbrook Mall hosted Southeast Kansas Humane Society's annual fall bake sale over the weekend. The baked goods included pumpkin pie, pumpkin bread, vanilla cupcakes, and more. The Humane Society also got to showcase some of the animals they have up for adoption on a bulletin board. All adoption fees for the animals are also now $20 for a limited time. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, grab the coat. It is cold, and with that wind, it's going to feel even colder. Mostly cloudy skies, and they'll begin to eventually decrease through the day. North winds gusting around 30. Record keeping purposes, our highs were in the upper 50s, near 60, but by this afternoon, best we're going to muster is upper 40s for some of us. Skies continue clear through the evening. Temperatures falling quickly, mid 30s by 10, mid 20s overnight with calm winds. And as we head into the next 10 days, a little warmer tomorrow, even warmer by Wednesday. In fact, that's our warmest day on the 10-day forecast. A few isolated evening showers as a boundary pushes through, drops our temperatures for Thanksgiving. So it's going to be cold but dry, at least for Thanksgiving at this point. And we'll be even colder by this coming Sunday and a little bit warmer for the first week of December.
Alrighty. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making homemade chocolate cream pie in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The Orlando Pride won the National Women's Soccer League Championship over the weekend. First on CBS Mornings, Brazilian soccer superstar Marta joins the show to talk about leading her team to victory.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, organizers from the Pittsburgh Community Tree Lighting Ceremony join us in the studio with an invitation to kick off the holiday shopping season.
And Lori Horton back in the studio to finish up her pumpkin crunch cake. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.